Let me just set up my light. My light is just a phone actually. And I am with my nephew here. Um, we are going to be reading The Whitest for Magic again. As I mentioned from the previous episodes, I would be doing this for the rest of the end of the year because I am my goal here. Oh no, that is my light fixture, but oh no, I don't think we can read something, but yeah, it's just going to be our life now. I just thought that it would be cool to have my oops. Oh no. This is a chaos, Aegon. Yeah. He is trying to speak. He is curious. A while ago when when I was not starting yet, he was not here. He was just playing on his own, trying to play with the floss. But now he wants to be nearby. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't know when we're going to we start playing. But he is playing with the dog here. All right. So let me just okay, so I have already posted my recap on episodes or chapter 16 to 26 on my podcast. So that is Talk Your Thought, no spaces, on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podbean, Anchors. So we have a lot of podcasting platforms, and usually Anchor would just be distributing it all over. So, but I am more active in Spotify, and there is a feature in Anchor where you can ask questions. We can um, share our thoughts on this um, specific novels. And I also have my Instagram, but that is really more of like my personal Instagram. I don't have a separate one for the podcast just yet. I I don't know if I would do so in the future, but I am posting my episodes, my podcast episodes there as well. And okay, he is very quiet right now, but I don't know because I can't move my mic here. Can I get my wires? Thank you. All right, so I think we can start while he is playing. Not really playing. He is. Oops. Here we go. Yeah. He's just lying down on his tummy and like rubbing the not rubbing but caressing the dog that I have here. So we are going to be reading. Let us start while he is calm. So chapters 27 up to whenever. So let's start with chapter 27. I try calling Chad as soon as I get back to the room, but he doesn't pick up, even after 7 consecutive attempts. Great. I contemplate making the hike across campus to his dorm, but since I really don't feel like leaving the security of my bed and my medicinal bowl of lavender pellets right now, and since he obviously doesn't want to talk to me, I decide to just leave a couple messages and hope for the best. I feel really bad that I missed our date, but my love life isn't exactly my top priority right now. It can't be. Nor can I afford to preoccupy myself by worrying about Corey and his so called science. I don't know how to pronounce this one, but SEANCE. I need to refocus on myself, on the prospects of ending up in a casket before the week is up. I told Drea and Amber all about my meeting with Jacob, every single detail, from crystal, cluster rock to coffin. Minus, of course, the part about his eyes and the way he touched my hand, and the stupid, stupid way I feel all jittery around him. So, what's that supposed to mean? Amber asks. That he's some warlock? Are you seriously buying that dong? Not a warlock, I said. A witch. Warlocks are people who break oaths. It's weird to even give him a label. To stamp some ready made definition to his forehead so others can try to comprehend him? Whatever, Drea says. A guy witch? It's not a gendered religion, I say. And you don't have to be female to sense things. I suppose a guy rich could be kind of sexy, Amber says, rubbing at her chin in thought. But that still proves what? Everybody at this sad-ass campus knows about your Mora nightmares. You talked about them at the trial last year when they asked you about your first experiences with premonitions. I know, I say, mashing the lavender pellets up with my thumb, soaking up the soothing scent. But then, I talk about the Mora nightmares then. I was referring to the ones I was having 3 years before. This is different. He knows I'm having nightmares about her now. He also knows I'm having nightmares about Veronica Lehman. So who else besides us knows that stuff? Amber asks. Just you guys, I say. And Chad. And PJ. Drea adds. I nod. So they totally could have dished about it, Amber says. I guess. Especially PJ. But why would Jacob come all the way here from Colorado to find me and tell me I'm in danger? What would he have to gain? Maybe he's one of the ghost groupies? Amber says. You don't think there's any chance he could be telling the truth about the premonitions? I ask. We don't even know if he's telling the truth about transferring here from Colorado, Amber says. For all we know, he could be the next town over. Of course, there's a chance, Jerry interrupts. Look at Stacy. Look at how she's able to predict stuff. Yeah, I guess it's possible, Amber says. It just seems pretty sketchy, you know. Like he's trying too hard to get on Stacy's good side. I can't concentrate. Let us try to still read it while we're I think we really need to be sure. I guess, I say. I guess we should probably try to find out if he really is from Colorado and then ask PJ and Chad if they said anything. I don't think Chad would go spreading stuff, Drea says. You're right, I say. He wouldn't, especially since he seems to think my nightmares are all psychosomatic. Psycho, being the operative word, Amber says. It just makes a lot of sense to me, I say, ignoring Amber's comment. Why someone would travel to such great lengths to forewarn a person that their life is in danger. Sort of a way to safeguard yourself from years of impending guilt. Yeah, but then why did he wait so long to contact you? Drea asks. I mean, if he's supposedly been having nightmares about you since the summer, good question, I say, biting down my lip. For now, I think you should stay away from this guy, Amber says. For all you know, he could be another clone. I don't know, Drea says. Maybe he could really help us. I mean, let's say he really is from Colorado. Why would he bother traveling all this way if he wasn't telling the truth? Do you think anyone's that fanatical? Look at freak show Trish Caboni, Amber says. She came all the way from Rhode Island. That's only like a state away, Drea says. When was the last time you looked at a map? Amber shrugs. Maybe he came here from the prestigious Hillcrest name, Drea says. Yeah, Amber says. I'm sure all the Ivies are psyched to get applications from Hillcrest Prep. Look, I begin. All I know is I'm having nightmares. That tell me that I'm going to be begging to die in less than a week. I'm getting letters that say the same thing, and meanwhile, some guy is claiming to be dreaming about my funeral. Don't forget middle of the night boiler room visits, evil children's music, and red letter Miss, Amber says. Right, I say. I'm thinking I should take it all seriously. Very seriously, Drea says. Amber grabs a pinch of lavender pellets and drops them down the front of her shirt. I think we should keep an eye on Corey and Tobias as well. And Trish and Emma, Drea adds. Do you think there's any truth to their lame ass science? Amber asks. What are you talking about? Drea asks. What science? Apparently, Corey and his ghost groupie clones have conjured up Veronica's spirit. Amber says. They say she's peace mad at Stacy. Try not to stress about it, I say. I mean, I know it's easier said, but I'm with Amber on this. Their sense is definitely lame. How do you know? Drea takes a deep breath and grabs a bar of chocolate off her night table. I don't think I'm ready for this. Will deal, Amber says. Famous last words. Drea says, gnawing away at the block of chocolate comfort. And that is the end of chapter 27. Alright, let us just move since my naughty visitor is no longer around, so we can focus on reading. And yeah, this is a mystery book, so I find it suitable to have some sort of lighting that is kind of like this, but it is just my opinion. Let us see if this works. If not, then we won't push through it. Yeah, Jane was there. I'm sorry I did not notice that there was someone here. So yeah, I love reading as well. Thank you for dropping by and giving some comments. But yeah, right now I'm also reading. Still reading. For this chapter, I think I like how Drea is participating now, but as usual, she would still have a little bit of hesitations, and she would really feel uneasy about this because she experienced this a long, long time. I mean, not a long time ago. It's only over a year, or it's just been a year, and now they're going back with another's mystery. And so, all right, let me just remove this because it's blocking the shadows. But I mean, it's giving us shadows. But yeah, that is just my thought. And she's still on Chad's side on this. Um, Now I feel like Amber is kind of like me in terms of being very um critical maybe or judgmental about Jacob, about the guy witch as they call them or call him. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, but Chad and PJ is the other person or the other persons who know about her dreams. So what else? Who else? I mean, this time around you can't really trust the person around you. So I wouldn't be blaming Stacy if she is doubting everyone. Now let us move on to chapter 28. I lie awake in my bed trying to go over and over and over in my head what my mind and body are trying to warn me. How the messages and the song play into that, as well as everything that Jacob said. But instead of becoming clearer, I only feel more confused, more funkified, like my head is a giant bingo tank and the endless questions that spin around inside are the rotating bingo balls. I just can't seem to focus longer than 2 whole minutes. It seems that every time I try, my mind begins to wander. As much as I want to, I just can't help or can't stop thinking about Jacob, which completely infuriates me because I'm thinking about him and not about Chad. And what infuriates me even more is that I shouldn't be thinking about either of them. I should be trying to figure everything out. Which is why I decided to do a spell tonight, one that promotes clarity, one that will help me gain a better understanding of things. I set the family scrapbook open atop my bed for inspiration and reference, and I go ahead and make copies of the letters at the library, just in case I need them as evidence later. I place the copies in my jeweler box for safekeeping and keep the originals for the spells. Amber and Jaya agree to help me. They sit at the foot of my bed, Amber busy charging up at the spell supplies by passing them one by one through the incense smoke. Andrea cutting the letters up into tiny squares. It feels good that Drea is helping me like this, talking about the situation as if it's our problem and not just mine. I know how hard this must be for her, but only putting aside my negative energy, any negative energy between us, but putting my needs well above her own. Using a razor blade, I carve into the top of a thick yellow candle, doing my best to get close to the wick, but not to sever it, and to dig a deep enough bowl-like space for melted wax to collect. I light the candle, place it on a ceramic plate, and try hard to concentrate on Jacob. I need to capture his essence in some way. Normally, I'd use a lock of his hair or a fingernail shard, as the family scrapbook suggests. But since I don't have those, I need to be resourceful. The crystal comes to mind. I palm it, wondering if I could make this work. But it really doesn't capture him, his spirit, the way I need it to. I need to have something more personal, more intimate. I rack my brain for some idea, but the only one that comes to mind, the one that I can seem to shake, is that slate blue eyes. And the way those eyes made me feel, making me almost want to gouge out my own eyes with a ballpoint pen. I mean, what is wrong with me? Still, since it's the only thing that I can think of right now, I have no choice. I ignite my lightest blue candle and place it to the side. So, Amber begins. Did this Jacob guy admit to sending you these letters? No, I say. It was weird. He seemed to know about the stuff I was getting, but then when I asked if it was from him, he just shook his head. So if it isn't him, Drea says, then it could be anyone. Freaking brilliant, Sherlock, Amber says. No, I mean it could be anyone, even a girl. We were originally thinking it was a guy, right? Because of the breaking in, because Stacy heard a male voice and saw a male figure that night in the boiler room. But if it was Jacob, and if it was Jacob who sent the email, then we have no other evidence that it's a guy who's after her, right? Tell me, oh wise one. Amber intones. If you were a crazy stalker, would you really admit to your target that you were the one who was sending her all this psycho-threatening stuff? If I was a crazy stalker, Drea says, I wouldn't even admit to knowing about the psycho-threatening stuff. A good point. Which is why I believed Jacob when he said the messages in the cassette weren't from him. You think a girl sent these letters? Amber asks, running the spool of black thread through the incense smoke. It's possible, Drea says. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a guy. No way, Amber says. These letters are so Y chromosome. A girl's death threats would have way more style. There's a brilliant theory. Drea cuts up the last of the letters and drops the tiny paper squares into a bowl. We really shouldn't rule anyone out. And we won't, I say, pouring the bowl of melted yellow wax into a ceramic dish. I drip the melted baby blue wax onto it and then swirl the two colors together with the back end of a mixing spoon. Yellow for clarity and blue to represent Jacob. After the wax has had ample time to cool, I grab it up in my fingers and sculpt it into the shape of a body. What is that? Amber asks. An effigy, I say, rubbing the warm and buttery wax between my fingertips. What effigy? Amber asks. An effigy, I repeat. A wax figure, basically. Like voodoo? Drea asks. Sort of, I say. It will help make things more clear. I unravel several feet of thread from the spool and wrap it around and the effigy's waist, as many times as I say is necessary, until I feel in my heart I've gained full control of it. Then I continue to work the thread around the figure, over the shoulders, through the legs, and around the ankles, concentrating on the idea of harnessing my confusion and overcoming it. Do you think he likes that? Amber, Amber asks. Do I think he likes what? I ask. Effie, he says. She says, giving my wax figure a name. Do you think he enjoys being tied up like that? You know, like a turn on? Someone get her some help. Drea sighs. I can't help but giggle in response. After a few more cycles of thread, I feel truly empowered, like I finally be able to make sense of my questions. I lay the wax figure on a charged cotton handkerchief and take one last long look at the body. Sort of a greenish color now, a blending of clarity and mystery. Now bridled by my mindfulness. I sprinkle the cut up letters over it so he won't get cold? Amber asks. So the pieces will untie in my dreams, I correct. When you have a better handle on things, the pieces tend to come together more completely. Ah, yeah, That's what I always say. I smile at Amber's sarcasm and carefully roll the effigy up in the handkerchief. I place it under my pillow, confident that I will have insightful dreams tonight. Episode or chapter 28 concluded. Alright, so let us talk about it a little bit. Let us check the comments. Alright, so I like how in this chapter we are seeing how they're working together now, and that is what I've been looking forward because I wasn't able to read books the first few books before The White is for Magic, and I've always been curious how they were working together about saving Drea, of course, and all, and I find it really um, wholesome that their friendship is like that. They're very different. As you can see, Amber doesn't take anything seriously. Drea, on the other hand, she was always described by Stacy as the one being as the one who is really beautiful and very model like figure, and she is also very prim and proper. So yeah, while Stacy on the other hand would somehow appear as the weird one, right? Because of the witch stuff. But she is also kind of like Drea at some point. It's just that they are very different. That is it. And I find it really weird that she finds Jacob attractive because she is with Chad. However, I think it might have something to do with the eyes being blue and them being kind of similar. It is always attractive to someone when you find someone similar to you who understands the weird part of you, what that you're trying to conceal from others. So I think that is what's making Jacob different from all the other guys that she met, and eyes being like the window to anyone's soul. I think that is also the reason why. I mean, I think that is actually the the author's way to tell us, like, yeah, that blue eyes, it would have something to tell you. And the other part of the chapter. So I have a lot of shadows. I'm sorry about that, but um, I think it's good because it the vibes is like that. Maybe the next time, before I go to the next chapter, the next time I would have like white candles if we have one, just so we have like the background for the white is for magic. Now we're looking. I mean, yellow is for clarity. One thing I knew, and blue is for mystery, which is really good. All right, so I'm excited to read the chapter 29. I'll just go ahead and do it. I'm what I'm walking down a long, narrow corridor. I'm walking down a long, narrow corridor in the basement of the O'Brien building. It's dark except for the few yellowy light bulbs lined up overhead and quiet save for some dripping pipes along the ceiling, the sound of water hitting against the cement floor. I fold my arms to soften the chill and make my way toward the end of the hallway. The floor littered with paint cans and other custodial supplies. There are doors lining the walls. I press my ear against one of them, but don't hear anything. I try the knob, locked. There's a sound coming from the door at the end. A rhythmic slapping sound, followed by the thumping of feet against the pavement, like someone's jumping rope. Hello? I call, my voice echoing off the concrete walls. but no one answers. Mora, is that you? I take a few more steps, doing my best to make out any movement at the end of the hallway. But it's just so dim. The light bulbs overhead too sparse and dull to allow much more than shadows. I can see a shadow against the wall, just to the right of the door at the end of the hallway, a loop-like shadow that rotates around and around. I continue to walk toward the movement, toward the sound, and then I hear a voice, Mora's voice singing. Miss Mary Mac, all dressed in black, black, black. She has a knife stuck in her back. She cannot breathe. She cannot cry. That's why she begs. She begs to die. A chill runs down the back of my neck. My heart starts pumping hard in my chest. I take another step and then stop. The shadow of her figure, jumping rope, is just a few yards away now. Mara? She hears me. I've startled her, I think. The singing stops. The shadow pauses mid-rope rotation, and the jump rope falls to the ground. It's Stacy, I say. Her shadow squats down on the ground as though to hide, and then I see the shadow of arm movement. She's drawing something on the ground. The letter M in dark red crayon. Mora? I asks. Your name, is that what the M stands for? But instead of answering, she runs away. Her shadow scampers along the wall out of sight, leaving me alone. I move to the right to follow her, but stop, noticing the jump rope on the ground. Not just the shadow, but the real thing. I pick it up and sniff it. It smells like strawberry, candy, and buttered popcorn. Like her. The way I remembered her. Mora? I call. I can hear her. The faint sound of her whimpering. It's coming from behind the door. I place my ear up against the door crack and can hear her clearly. She is crying, muttering my name between sobs, begging me to get her out. I try the knob, but it's locked. I pull at it, kick it, place a foot up on the wall for better leverage, and yank the knob with all my might. But it's no use. The door won't budge. Mora? Mora! I shout. Can you help me? Can you open the door and let me in? I jam my fingers into the door crack and do my best to pry it open that way. But I can't seem to wedge my fingers in deep enough. They keep slipping out, a couple of bloody from splinters. Mora's crying louder now, almost screaming. A scared, horrible, and hopeless cry. I place my hands over my ears and I hear myself cry out too. Stacy, she calls out between sobs. I'm here, I yell into the door crack. I'm not going to leave you. I hear her body slide down against the door. Her crying is at knee level now. I squat down to be closer to her. Can you hear me? I ask, but the crying stops altogether. Mora? I stand back up and pound on the door. Are you still there? Are you okay? I'm still here, Stacy. I'm still here, Stacy, answers a male voice. One I don't readily recognize. Where's Mara? I cry. Welcome back, he says. Where is she? I kick and beat at the door with every ounce of energy left in me, looking forward to our meeting. He asks, I've been waiting a long time. Who are you? I take a step away from the door, awaiting some response, but there isn't any. After several seconds, I begin assessing the door and the hinges, the crack at the bottom, the knob. That's when I notice a keyhole. I run my fingers over the top of the door frame and find it, a rusty key with green paint splotches. I stick it into the lock and try the knob. This time it turns. I take a step inside. It's even darker here. The smell of mix of must and dampness. I move my hands to feel around the walls for a switch, but can't find one. Something sharp on the wall pricks an already bleeding finger. I stick my finger in my mouth and open the door up wider to let in some light from the hallway. It appears as though this is a shed of some sort. There are tools hanging on the wall, a workbench to my right, and metal shelving to the left. I take a step closer, focusing on the pieces of folded paper lined up on the metal shelves. Dozens upon dozens of origami pieces. Birds of all types, cats, rabbits, frogs, snakes. Mara, I call. Are you in here? I move farther inside and the door shuts. A heavy slam. I feel my breath quicken. My heart pump inside my chest. It's completely dark now. There's a shifting sound in the corner. Mara, I whisper. I can hear her coughing, getting sick, like she might be choking or on something. I feel sick as well. My stomach is gurgling, clenching up like a fist, arms outstretched. I move toward the corner where I think she might be hiding, but there's something blocking me from getting to her. I can't get past it. Can't go around or climb over it. A heavy machine of some sort. My hands and neck are sweating. My mouth is dry, a thick, pasty film coating over my tongue. There's a ringing sound from somewhere behind me. A phone on the workbench, I think. It's Jacob. He has some information for me, something he has to tell me. I just know it. I hold my stomach and turn around to find the phone, but instead I find tools. My jittery hands paw over them. A hammer, a wrench, some rusty nails, a fire extinguisher, stuff I could use to get out from here, to break the door down. Mora is still getting sick in the corner. The only way for me to help her is to find the phone, to find out what Jacob has to tell me. But the queasiness in my stomach is holding me in place. Stacy, a voice yells out. Will you please just pick up the phone? It's closest to you. It's Amber's voice. Stacy? I wake up with a grasp and sit up in bed. The phone is ringing from my night table. Amber sits up in bed as well. Do you want me to get it? She asks. I shake my head and pick up the phone, my heart still threshing around in my chest, my face still sweating. Hello? Jacob? No, Stacy, it's Mom. Who's Jacob? Hi, Mom. I sigh, noting the sour, sticky taste in my mouth. If Amber hadn't woken up me yet, I'd probably be covered in yuck right about now. I give Amber the okay sign, and she responds by flopping back in bed. She rolls over and draws the covers up over her head. I look at the clock. It's after midnight. Are you okay? I ask my mother. I just couldn't sleep, she says. I'm sorry it's late. I've just been worried about you. Who's Jacob? Just some guy, I say. A friend? Wait, why are you worried? Worried? Because of what you said about having nightmares. I take a deep breath and let it out slowly. I really don't want to go through this again with her. Not now. Right now, I want to call Jacob. The dream just felt so real, like he really has something to tell me. Something I need to know. I think maybe you should try to preoccupy yourself with some hobby, she says. What? A hobby, she repeats, her voice wavering overward. Are you serious? Get involved in a club at school, maybe something artistic, she continues after a pause. Or try a sport, maybe socializing with kids with different interests might help relax you a bit. I've been doing a lot of online research about nightmares, and it seems people who experience them do so because they have no other outlets for stress. A hobby, something artistic. It's almost 12 freaking 30 in the morning. Is she out of her mind? Can we talk about this later? I ask. Sure, honey. I just wanted to call and tell you that, and to tell you that I'm thinking about you and I love you. I know you do, Mom. Okay, honey? There is silence between us for several seconds. It's almost like she has something else to tell me, some other agenda. But we just remain quiet, listening to each other's breathe. Part of me wants to tell her that I love her back, but I'm too annoyed. And I know that's probably selfish, and she obviously really does care about me to call at this late hour, to feel so plagued about it. But there's another part inside of me that feels bitter, resentful that she doesn't take me more seriously, especially after everything I've been through. We hung up shortly after. The slip of paper Jacob gave me with his phone number scribbled across it is sitting on my nightstand. I dial his number. Stacy? He answers. Yeah, I whisper. How did you know? I tried calling you, but your line was busy. I figured you'd call. We need to talk, I say. Yeah, he agrees. We do. Can you meet me tonight? My heart starts pumping even harder because I'm scared. Because he's so urgent. Because it's him and I don't know what to expect. I glance over at Amber and Drea asleep in their bunks. Okay, I say. Where? We arranged to meet in the laundry room by the underclass women dorms. I stuff a wad of clothes into a pillowcase to make it look legit. Cram my feet into a pair of sneakers and grab my coat and flashlight. I make my way quietly through the lobby and out the front door, noticing right away that the front door isn't locked. But I don't have time to dwell on it because just in front of me, looped around the branch of cypress tree in front of our dorm, is a rope of some sort. The overhead spotlights shine right over it, swinging in the breeze. I descend the steps and approach it slowly. You know it's for me, and I know what it is, and I'm right. It's a jump rope, just like the one in my dream, except this one's tied into a noose. Alright, that's episode or chapter 29. And to be honest, I was thinking that maybe Mara, I don't know who Mara is to be honest, yet, but I am having um, feelings while I was reading the chapter 29 that maybe Mara is herself as well. I don't know who Mara is just yet because again I did not read the book before this, before White is for Magic, so I don't know the entire backstory, and it seems like they don't really know who Mara is, and Stacy doesn't know who she is as well. But apparently, according to some sort of clues that we have in the previous chapters, Mara was also someone who died because she did not believe her dreams that she could see someone's death in her dreams or in her nightmares. So, but when Mara was feeling sick, I mean, was crying in her dream, and she felt like crying as well. And then when Mara is feeling sick, and then she feels sick as well, and feels like coughing, I think that is just it. I think maybe they are some sort of connected. Is Mara a childhood friend, or is it really her? And that is what we're going to find out in the next few chapters. I'm going to read chapter 20 or chapter 30. Now we're on the threes. Okay. Let us continue now so that we know what is going to happen. So I'm just gonna move a bit in here. So I hope that this gives us a creepy vibe, a creepy and mystery vibe. For yeah, I am yeah. That is how the hair would look like when you tie it up too high. Okay, I just feel like I need to put it down right now because yeah, this feels really creepy, especially the Mary Mock song that was being sung in her dreams, in her nightmare by Mara. It feels really different. But yeah, this is now. Oh, we are now going to be reading anytime. Yeah. Okay. I can see it. I can see the book from here, from this angle. My eyes too bad. The jump rope turned noose hangs from a branch just overhead, the two plastic handles dangling down in front of my eyes. I take a couple steps away from it and cover my mouth, shaking my head like this isn't real, like it can't be true. A whistle like sound sputters from my mouth. My name is written in thick, black marker down each of the handles, so there is no doubting that it's for me. That someone wants to kill me. Stacy, says a voice from behind me, a male voice, one that I don't recognize right away. I feel my shoulders stiffen, my jaw lock. It's me, he says. I turn to look. It's Jacob, partially concealed in shadows. Are you okay? He asks, taking a step forward. He looks up at the noose and then makes his way toward it. What's that? He asks. What are you doing here? I tighten the grip on the laundry bag, feeling the ample weight at the bottom. If I need to if I need to, I can use it to fight. He pulls the rope, the branch from the branch and runs his thumb over the handles, maybe trying to send something from my name. I said, what are you doing here? What do you mean? He asked. We were supposed to meet. In the laundry room, I say. On the other side of campus. I say, I know, he says. I just didn't think you should be walking around by yourself at night. How thoughtful, I say, looking at the noose in his hands, wondering if he's the one who left it for me. As soon as I hung up the phone with you, I sprinted over here so I wouldn't miss you, he says, now trying to send something from the rope fibers. Do you have any idea who could have put this here? Maybe you could tell me, I say, taking note that he is fully dressed, that his hair looks slightly wet, as though from gel, like maybe he wasn't in bed at all. He says, pausing at the knotted part, ignoring my remark. What? I ask. Do you mind if I take this? I might be able to use it. I might be able to find out who put it here. I don't think so, I say, grabbing the noose from him. I feel over the handles as well, the tips of my fingers still tingling from getting pricked and splintered in my dream. I check them over for cuts, but there aren't any. And I can't seem to sense anything but my own fear. We should talk, he says, but not here. Do you still want to go to the laundry room? I shake my head. All I really want to do is go back inside, beneath the haven of my covers, and start this night all over again. I tightened my grip on the rope, hoping to squeeze any sign, any glue, anything out. But it's like my hand is numb, unfeeling. How about in the boiler room of your dorm? He asks. I know the way in. As though I could forget. I don't think so, I say. Then where? He asks. For just a second, I think about telling him to leave, that we have nothing to say to one another, but all considered, I know I should hear him out. My dreams and the letter are telling me that I have less than a week to figure this out. Less than a week, which could just be a couple of days away or closer. For all I know, it could be tomorrow or tonight. I look over at the benches on the lawn, the heavy spotlights shining over them. There, I say. Before Jacob can answer, I clasp my hands over the crystal cluster rock to my pocket and start walking over to the spot. You know, we could get caught here. It's way after curfew. I don't really care, I say. I don't even know where we had to meet. Why couldn't we have just talked on the phone? I can sense more about you when we're together, he replies. And what are you sensing now? I ask. That you're in serious danger. I stop to look at him. Is that why you were trying to call me tonight? I could ask you the same thing, he says. Why did you call me? I take a seat on the bench because I thought we needed to talk. Jacob sits down next to me. He's nodding. His stare is so penetrating, like he can see right inside me, into that far away corner of myself, the place that I never reveal, not even to Chad. Chad. I look away and try to zap him into my mind, to remind myself that he's the one I love, the one I care about, and yet our relationship has been such a complete and utter mess after months and months of near perfection. I had another nightmare about you tonight, Jacob says, zapping me back in place. I venture a look at his face, noticing for the first time the mole under his bottom lip. About what? About you getting sick. Sick how? Like sick to your stomach? Like hangover sick with vomiting? You probably just dreamt about that because speaking has become some sort of spectator sport for me lately. I think people have dubbed me the exorcist chick. He settles back into the bench and looks away, like there's something else on his mind, something he's not telling me. What? I ask. Nothing, he says. Not nothing. It's just I think there's more to it. That's all. Like what? What else did you dream about? Hands, he says, looking back at me. Hands? He nods, encircling your neck. What do you mean? I mean, I think someone is going to try and strangle you. Then what's with the noose? Jacob shakes his head. It's like someone's trying to scare you. It's like either you pursue them or they'll come after you. Who? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's someone you already know. How do you know that? Because when it happens, when the two of you come face to face, it's like you aren't afraid of the person, at least not at first. It's like you're almost expecting him. Him. So it's a guy? He shakes his head. I can't be sure. The hands look pretty strong, but I haven't been able to see much detail about them yet. What do you see? I ask. I can see the hands constrict, and I can see you choking. I try to swallow the image, but it won't get past my throat. I let out a gasp and then cover my mouth to try to hold it in. Are you alright? Jacob asks. He touches my shoulder. Maybe I shouldn't have told you. No, it's okay. I'll be okay. I shake my head, trying to get the image of someone's hands encircling my neck, putting me to death, out of my head. But instead, the image presses against my chest. I do my best to look up at the full moon and breathe its energy in, but instead I feel like the air is blocked, like I'm coming apart, and there's nothing I can do about it. Jacob's hand slips across my shoulders until it wraps around me. I know you'll be okay, he says quietly, firmly, because I'm going to help you. Part of me wants to wipe his hand away, but I don't, because there's a bigger part, a weaker part, maybe, that needs comfort right now. I keep my focus away from him so I don't reveal too much, even though I know I'm being so pathetically transparent. I don't even know you, I say, wiping at my eyes. It doesn't even make sense. What doesn't? Why you, why you started dreaming about me in the first place? You didn't even know me. When I was having nightmares about Drea and Mara, it was different. I knew them. They were important people in my life. Jacob nestles me in the in cloud in sorry. Jacob nestles me in closer, so close I can feel his chest now, moving in and out with each breath, and I can smell him. He smells like lemongrass, incense, a smell I want to breathe right into my skin. I close my eyes, trying my hardest to get a hold of my emotions, to breathe the tension out. We sit there for several seconds without saying a word. I'm sorry, I say, regaining a bit of strength. I sit back up and look into my face, so close to mine, his squarish chin just inches from my forehead. It's okay, he says. He lays a hand over my coat pocket and feels the crystal inside, sensing somehow that I'd be carrying it. We're connected in some way. Why else would I be dreaming about your future? How else would I know you've been having nightmares about Mara and about Veronica Lehman? Haven't you considered? I suppose I have. I suppose it's the connection he's talking about that has me all tangled up whenever I'm around him. I tug my coat away from his hand and focus down into my lap, doing my best to suppress the blush I feel crawling across my cheeks. I hate myself for feeling this way, now of all times, when my life is at stake, when I'm having serious boyfriend issues. I take a deep breath to stifle the confusion and frustration I feel storming up inside my chest, in my mind, and behind my eyes. How do you know that I dream about what I dream about? I ask. I just know, he says. I can't explain it. I just feel things. I see things. Sometimes I while I'm sleeping, sometimes not. I nod and look away, too emotionally spent to ask him more about it. And besides, I know exactly what he's talking about. How he and I are so completely alike in this way. Say something, he says. Like what? I swallow, looking back at him, at his eyes. Like you believe me. Like you believe I can help you. I can't be sure of anything right now, I say. What can I say or do to make you sure? He asks. I think about it a moment, and the question becomes obvious. How am I supposed to know you're really from Colorado? That you really came all the way here to try and help me? Without hesitation, Jacob pulls a wallet from his pocket and shows me a couple of forms of picture ID, a driver's license from Vail, Colorado, along with a school ID card with his name and address. Okay, so if you really came all this way just for me, then why did it take over 2 months? to come out and contact me. I mean, if I was in so much danger, because I was afraid, he answers. Afraid? Afraid of what? Of this. Of you not believing me. I wanted to watch you for a while. He pauses. And I wanted to dream about you more. You were watching me? I ask, remembering the words written on the cassette tape left in our room. Look, he says. I know you don't trust me, and with all the freaks around this campus, I'm not even sure I can give you a reason why you should. But I have no reason to lie. With or without my help, someone is going to try and hurt you. And if you don't do anything about it, I think they might succeed. I glance down at the news still gripped in my hand. I don't trust anyone. Not even Chad? He asks. Leave him out of this. I can't, he says, biting his lip, staring down at my own. Why? Because I can't. He turns away, leaving me hungry for more. I'm tempted to ask him again, but I don't. Because maybe I'm not ready to know, and maybe I already know. I should go, I say. No, he says, touching my hand. I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's wrong with me either. We sit in silence, both of us knowing we should say our goodnights, but neither of us making a move. After several awkward moments, Jacob sits up and leans into me, his face so close I can smell his skin. That lemongrass scent. I do my best to look away. I blink. I look up at the moon. I even try reminding myself of the horrific reality of the news still clutched in my hand. But nothing works. Jacob's pale blue eyes stare right into me, almost paralyzing me in place. He leans in a little closer, and I feel my lips apart. Stacy, says a voice. It's Chad. My heart clenches. I press my eyes closed in disbelief at how unbelievably stupid I am, and then turn around to face him. Chad glances back and forth between me and Jacob. Chad, I say, standing up. It's not. But I can't even finish the thought. Chad looks so completely confused. His face scrunched up like he doesn't understand. He looks away as if the picture of Jacob and me, here, like this, hurts too much. As if I've hurt him too much this time. I can explain, I tell him, thinking how unbelievably tried that sounds. Jacob gets up and stands beside me. It's not what you're thinking, he says. It's been a bad night. Apparently, just for some people. Chad takes one last look at me before turning and walking away. Maybe making me feel even worse. I'm sorry, Jacob says. Do you want me to go talk to him? No, I say. I will. I just hope Chad is willing to listen. And what an odd moment. So let's just go back a little bit more, like how they look at how they. Oh my goodness, so Stacy, you're like a mess right now. What are you doing? Um, Jacob is leaning onto her. His face is close to to him, to his skin. Yeah, and they were looking at each other's eyes when Chad saw them. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to tell you, Stacy, but you are done for. That is not a good thing. I mean, for anyone, of course, right? I mean, with all of these things, it's so heavy that nothing is going on with that nothing is going right in Stacy's life, basically, because of all of these dreams, and now there is this stranger that is trying to what um he can't rule out Chad. I mean, what it appears to me, since I don't know, I trust Chad more, but it seems like it's because Drea is trying to put it on the up on his head that it's not Chad, but what is happening? I don't know. It seems like Jacob is trying to put Chad one of the suspects because he's describing the guy in her dreams or in her nightmares that it is someone she knows because she's not afraid of him, and she is quite expecting him. So is it Chad? Is it because is this the reason why Chad doesn't want her to think too much about it? All right, so let us just read through. I don't know. I don't like how this is going with Chad as well. Like all this time, Chad has been like patient to her. But we don't also know. You can know someone for years and you would still be surprised on with the things that they can do to you, the bad things that they can do to you, and even the good things. Of course, you don't imagine him like maybe giving you flowers, giving you gifts, giving you like food out of nowhere. My priority is about foods, but yeah. But I think let us just, I mean, I am already an hour, more than an hour in, and I've only read for 27, 28, 29, 30. I've read 4 chapters now. I'll be reading 31, maybe. Or we can just end this tonight because I mean, we can just end it because we have a cliffhanger about what's going to happen. I've briefly read about 31. I mean, I've scanned through it and it seems like this is not the conversation with Chad. It's like Stacy telling both of her friends, Amber and Jaya, that what happened that night. So we have until episode chapter 45, 45, 30. We I mean for 3 days I think we can manage to read this. I'll be up live tomorrow morning as well to read this. I'm excited to know what's going to happen because this is just going fast and also messy all at once, and I'm quite excited, really. Not really quite, but I'm excited. But I'll try to have a better background and also just so my lighting is a bit better. Although I like how this looks spooky and all because why this for magic is giving us that vibe, but I still feel like this is not good enough. It looks really bad on camera, and I want it to be really cozy. I'll have a setup tomorrow, a bit better setup for tomorrow's live, and I hope that you would also be listening to the next few chapters. Maybe if I have 3 more lives, how many more should I be reading? 14. We have 14 to 15 chapters, 31, 41 for the 10, 14 chapters. So that would be about 3 more episodes if I'm reading 4 at one live. So yeah, I think that is it. My distractor is not here anymore. But we will be continuing this reading sessions with read with me sessions with tomorrow. I can't speak right now. I'm just thinking about the story. I'm sorry, but I hope that you would all be having a good holiday. Today is the 24th of December in the Philippines, and it's Christmas Eve. For those of you who are celebrating Christmas, have a very Merry Christmas to everyone. And I know it's been a tough year. 2020 and 2021 is not a year for everyone. Although some are really excelling, succeeding their life no matter what. It's been a tough year for me as well, to be honest, and we just hope that it's going to be better and just enjoy the holiday. Just try to make the best out of the moment, make the best out of whatever you have right now. celebrate it simply, or even if you're just enjoying your holiday. Not everyone is celebrating Christmas, but if you are enjoying, try your best to enjoy the holidays, whether it be reading some good books or just spending time with your family, have a good meal and all. So that is it. Let's see you tomorrow on Christmas Day or yeah, 25th. Bye.